We got a little thing here. We got a little thing on the app. So if you're listening to this right now, there's a little button where you can go on the Anchor app if you're listening to it, and you press call in now, and you can press that button and you just put the phone right to your ear and you can leave us a message. So you can leave us any messages of anything inspirational or anything you liked about the show, any fucking
thing you don't like,
anything you don't like, any shit you want to talk about.
You don't like my hat, send me a message and tell me I'll change it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Or you give us some motivation, but you know,
leave a message, man. Interact with us, man. We talk to you back.
There it is. You heard it. And we could do that.
Any ideas for the show?
If you want to be on the show.
Exactly.
Yes. If you want to be on the show.
Tell your story. What's your hustle?
Exactly. And second, another thing coming up, SKRILLA SAM is also going to be going out there, and he's looking for entrepreneurs and rappers out there that are doing their thing, and they're hustling, and they're motivated, and they're inspiring. And he's going to go out there and find them, and he's bringing them on the show, and we're promoting. You're now listening to Street Science, the personal development, motivational life coaching show for the streets. My name is Michele Garabato. Thank you for listening to the show if you're listening right now. And I want to introduce my two new co-hosts right now, because if you've actually watched the last show, it was just me. The show is growing. So we have two co-hosts here. My first co-host I want to introduce, his name is SKRILLA SAM. He's a TV host / rapper / comedian from the Bay Area. Has been out here doing it for quite some time.
What's going on, y'all? Man, I'm glad to be a part of the show.
That's right. That's right. I feel the motivation in your voice. Nice. Thank you. All right. And my second co-host, Cleetus Kasiody, who's a rapper and also the co-producer of this show, Street Science. Cleetus, how you doing?
Good.
Good
to be here. Happy to be a new addition to the team.
All right, so the topic of the day today for Street Science is hustle. So when I talk about hustle right now, a lot of everybody's saying hustle. Gary Vee's saying hustle. Hipsters are saying hustle. People on the streets are saying hustle. Hustle. But what the fuck is hustle? What are you doing? What are you doing to hustle? What is your game plan? What is the definition of hustle? Like, what are you doing? Are you out there sweating every day and grinding? Or are you at home game planning? Are you writing down goals? Like, what are you doing? So that's a little bit of what I want to talk about. And so some practical things that we can do if you want to get your hustle going. There's two ways you can go about working on your hustle. You can do some personal development stuff for your hustle, like what are your routines, goal setting, shit like that, which we can get into. And then there's how do you get yourself to be in that hustle mode? You don't just fucking walk around and hustle every day. You don't wake up and feel like I want to hustle every day. Sometimes you do, but you got to get yourself in that mindset a lot of times. And there's a motivation process that you can use, several motivation processes, but I like to talk about stuff like that.
Man, okay, well, shit, man, starting off, man, the hustle that I'm familiar with is the dope hustle.
Okay.
So like, well, I grew up in an area where it was like you either smoked it or sold it, and that's how I got introduced to it. I grew up downtown San Jose. Like I lived on 8th Street, which is 7 blocks away from 1st Street. Which is if you ever been to San Jose or if you ever stop by downtown,
I've been there a couple times.
Tourist knows that hey, something's not right here. You know what I'm saying? And
paint the picture for our viewers. Paint the picture for our viewers.
Okay, it's pretty much like this. What I've learned going places around, I don't want to say like around the world, but like different states. Every downtown is fucked for the most part.
That's where they go. That's where you go.
You go downtown Oakland, downtown Frisco, downtown San Jose. I've never been downtown Vallejo, but I'm sure you go down. Like there's the nice areas, but within like that they're trying to make it a tourist attraction. But within those same streets, they're trying to lure people in. They're trying to push people away like us up out of there that I once were. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I grew up down there, and I used to always take the bus to school. You know what I'm saying? And like you would always say it was always common for if you looked or dressed a certain way, they would walk up to you and say, hey, or sometimes it would just be eye contact because they're across the street. They're like, eyes with you, like, hey, what's up? You working? Like, right, and sometimes if they're not within earshot, it's kind of like a look and a head raise, like a nod, like, what's up? Right. And like you either look away or tell them no if you're not getting down. Like, because if you from anything past that, they're walking up to you and it's a transaction. You know what I'm saying? And I used to shoo people away, get away from me, because police are looking, there's undercovers there. Hey, get away from me.
And
You're making it hot.
And how old were you?
It was like 16.
Okay, and so that hustle.
15. Maybe like
15.
Okay, no.
Okay.
So like 16 is once I was in.
You were
I'm gonna tell you. So I'm catching the bus every day, and I would tell people, no, get the fuck away from me, man. You're making me hot. Like you're bringing unwanted attention. And plus, I dressed flashy. I dressed already like I was doing something.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I was just a student of the game. I would just watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then, like one day, I go home like, man, I didn't said no 17 times a day. If 17 of those people had $10, that's $170. You know what I'm saying? So once I broke it down like that, I said, I'm not gonna say no more. So when I go to school, while I'm sitting, I have my backpack on, and I'm just anybody here that knew me from that era, they know. Like I would dress like I went to campus, I went to school, have a backpack on all the time, same shoes I'm wearing now. I'll dress like I wear a suit sometimes. And I would just dress like that, and I would be selling at the bus stop, like I'm waiting for the bus, like I always do. You know what I'm saying? And then I would just do that, and then that just led to other things. But that was the hustle that I was familiar with, was turning one into two or making something out of nothing.
Right.
But there's different forms of hustling. That doesn't mean you got to be out there in the street gritting and grinding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can hustle your 9 to 5. You can hustle your mouthpiece. Right. Sometimes you don't necessarily even have to have a product to hustle it. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this though, and for our viewers too, or our listeners and viewers, I know it comes from like a negative place, dope selling. I got 2 terms for sales. I love selling dope, and honestly, there's a lot of positives in learning how to sell dope and going through the process of selling dope. And I think that those hustle techniques and those things that we're doing in there that were actually positive salesmanship things are things that we can like extract and use, in life.
I'm gonna keep it real, be honest, man. I knew like there was a lot of that time where I was selling that and I didn't want to sell it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like, just like for the money, but just like selling crack to my own people. You know what I'm saying? Like one time I sold, there was a lady in a wheelchair came up to me, no legs, bro, just 2 nubs, like, you know what I'm saying? Like 2 stubs. And like I didn't want to I felt I just connected with it. I was like, dog, I didn't want to sell this shit to it. And I sold it to her. And I remember how I felt. You feel what I'm saying? I remember feeling that shit. It's like, dog, like, damn. Like, that was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? But some people was like, hey, man, well, she needed. She ain't got no legs. Like, you know what I'm saying? But still, I was like, like, you know what I mean? Like, you going through enough. Yeah, this ain't going to hurt, right? So,
she needs it, man. She ain't got no fucking legs.
No, man, I remember one time, dog, I had met up with a knock. I had met up with we call it knocks in San Jose, in the Bay Area, but we met up with a smoker, and that call eventually, like, the point was like to stop standing on the block and get your phone jugged, to where now you just meeting that you just go to certain destinations. Yeah. And I used to just scare my knocks. Like, you don't want to come out here. They're robbing the people, selling people. So you gonna get hemmed up, man. Hit my phone, man. Don't come out here no more. And I had him scared to go downtown. I could go meet him. So I met up with a smoker, and I met him. And it was just like, I would always like, hey, so how you doing, man? What you need? All right, for sure, we chopping it up, whatever. And he was like, hey, man, you know why I fuck with you, right? And he's in the backseat telling me, you know why I fuck with you? I'm like, why? He's like, it ain't because your shit the best, because your shit ain't all that great. He's like, your shit ain't that big either. He's like, but you know how to treat people. You know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers out there, because I'm on this stuff, they can talk to me any type of way and treat me like garbage, but I know better. Whoop, and like you, man, like this ain't for you. Like me selling this shit, like that's it for you. You got to be doing more. You got more coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I looked out, I was like, damn, like I was like, shit. Like,
OG came out of nowhere.
Like, no, it was I was selling the shit, and he was gonna get out my car, and I was gonna drive off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, on to the next one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, he just I felt the need to say that to me, and like I never forgot that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I always kept that in the back of my mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what, like, I know I didn't, like, this wasn't just going to be it. But most motherfuckers don't stop when they want to stop. The game won't stop you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got stopped. You know what I'm saying? I got stopped. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I learned from it. You know what I'm saying? I guess it wasn't nothing until I had kids. And once I had kids, like, I had a reason to kind of be out. Nice. For me. So, like, it wasn't just for me. It was for them. So my hustle now is working 2 jobs and side hustling is the accolades, trying to be the guy on camera, the guy behind the mic, the guy that's gonna put out material, trying to brand myself, cater to my fan base, put some shit out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Staying busy, working, having something to fall back on.
Damn. All right. Damn, Sam, you could be a fucking counselor. That was pretty good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was real nice.
Yeah.
That was real nice, for real.
Hey, so Cleet,
yeah.
what's up? Tell me about your hustle.
Well,
or what your hustle used to be, or your past.
Well, right. My definition of hustle, I was hearing a lot of things that Sam said that, like, were like right on target and right on board. But like you said, everybody hustle is different, So I didn't like necessarily sell dope or whatever, but I was like involved in a lot of things. But like the
kind of things.
The way I a lot of things. But the way I grew up was kind of weird, like my family interaction and stuff. So it started with my dad. Like my dad was a pimp.
Mm-hmm.
My father was a pimp, like in another state, in Iowa. And
oh wow,
Iowa. He pretty much ran a lot of things, and he owned real estate and had bars and things like that. But he had like a lot of ladies, and he was just into a lot of things. His, my brother also like sold dope and toes. Like that was like family business, but it was so small of a town that's my father's side of the family. My mother's side of the family was in the same town, so all these people within this town work for my father in one way or another.
Oh,
whether you're selling pussy or you're selling drugs or you're, whatever you're doing, whatever the other things that they were getting into were, like everybody was intertwined, in more ways than one. So I can go out there, and then my father having so many women and everything, I got 5 sisters and a brother, and we all have different mothers.
Wow.
So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't even know about each other for half our lives and this and that, whatever. And then I got like,
nigga has my nose.
You right? There goes my nose driving down the street and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there goes this and that. But so I'm all the way out here in California. They're in Iowa, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like kind of weird. So like I'm transplanted, but I've seen things and hear things and hear these stories and all kinds of things that going on. But like then I'm here in California, and then as I'm growing up, I kind of see things a little bit differently or whatever. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm just like feeling like I think I'm wired differently because this is what, my dad does. This is what, whatever people in my family are more on the crime side and this and that. But I'm a good straight arrow person. Like, you know what I mean? But really in my family, these things are going on. So I'm like kind of suppressed in what I'm doing or whatever. So my hustles were all kinds of different things, getting my hands into all little different things for little bits and pieces of time, and then skipping out of that. But I did jail time, not prison time, but jail time for a few different things. Like, but
hey, so how did you first get introduced, like into getting coerced into pimping and pandering?
It was crazy because I was working in a 9-to-5 at the time. I had a
where at?
Nigga, I cannot do that, right? Because I live a quadruple.
He's gonna give you as much detail.
Yeah, I live a quadruple, at least quadruple life.
So we'll leave Burger King out of that.
Bro.
We'll leave McDonald's out of that.
McDonald's ain't got shit to do with this.
All right, go ahead.
Burger King, nigga.
Okay, so you was working at 9-to-5.
Check this out. Okay, I'm working at 9-to-5 for a computer company.
Just say BK. Okay.
I'm working at a 9-to-5 for a computer company. I got a child on the way or a baby there, like it's there. Boom. I also got a girlfriend on the side, and then through work, I created a hustle, and I start dealing with these other dudes in that hustle. And that hustle became running into pimping.
Were you running security also?
I was running security. I got a great story of running security. Check this out. Okay, so we're at this spot. There's 2 girls. 2 girls, right? One girl's got a knock because he's on the other side of the hotel. Boom, right?
You do everything by the tools like Noah.
So we're in this hotel looking straight across. She goes out. He gets one probably across the balcony, whatever, straight across. Dude, nigga looks like dude from like Boondocks. He's like gray hair, like
Uncle Ruckus or the dad, the grandpa.
Like kind of like grandpa, but like if he was mixed with Uncle Ruckus, like me, like but like fucked up hair, like Ruckus hair, like but he was like a skinny Ruckus. There's another character on there that
was the hybrid.
He was a fucked up. He was like just a fucked up looking dude though. But he looked like or like Samuel Jackson cracked out. Or was that Samuel Jackson? Samuel Jackson. So send the girl over there. Boom. So right, we're sitting over here, and this bro's like, doing the most in the room. I'm over here, chilling and shit. You know what I mean? She's like playing with herself and doing all kinds of shit. I'm just sitting there, and I'm trying to pay attention. Like, damn, bitch. Well, I look out the window, and this dude's over there fucking her up. He's beating her up.
Oh, shit.
In the room, I'm supposed to be paying attention. I'm supposed to be on security.
The security detail was lacking at the moment.
This bitch over here playing with her pussy, and I'm fucking distracted. This
in the same room that you're watching, this other one's getting beat up.
I'm up here like, damn, this bitch is across the hallway through the window, and they're fucking arguing on the thing. She's banging on the window like, hey, this nigga's crazy. She's banging on the window like, this nigga's crazy. And I'm up here like, yeah. Looking at this shit, like, and I'm like, butt's tired, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And I'm like, oh shit!
It's like a scene in a movie, dog. So, she was a distraction, dog, while the shit was going on.
So, but he was like a crackhead thing. No, it wasn't a setup. It wasn't a setup. It just happened to be like you ain't built for this. You would have not been fucking with this raggedy bitch anyway, because she's a hoe. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have been fucking her, trying to looking at her like it was important. I should have been just paying attention, like, bitch, go sit down somewhere, and doing what I was supposed to be doing. This bitch trying to be the bottom bitch, so she's trying to seduce me. So we were doing shit, and I'm like, not thinking about what real pimping is like at this moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you think real pimping is just not fucking your whores. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm just saying, like, I'm sitting here like, being mesmerized, not treating her like how she's supposed to be treating us in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I almost got the other bitch killed. So I gotta run over there, put the pistol, knock on the door, hell scared, whatever. He opens the door, he's cracked out, he's tripping, he's like, she took my money. I told this nigga he can't do whoop, 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 and whoop. And the first thing he does, motherfucker, choke me and whoop, whoop.
It's my money and I want it now.
Right. So shit goes sideways, way sideways. So I got to put a pistol on the dude. I'm like, dude, we're going to leave. I don't know the fuck what. This happened, this and that, whatever. What she got, she's keeping. Taking shit back from her. She's out here. And he like, got super loud, but he let me go. But like he acted like he wasn't gonna let it go. He had a knife and he was tripping, but I had a pistol, and I was like, in the back out of the situation. This is the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, damn. And this is at the wrong time in life, but I figured out how to deflate the situation that could have went extra bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but some other things happened that night. Like, he was not a happy guy, and yeah, he was not a happy guy, and he burnt that hotel down.
Damn. Okay.
Shit.
Hotel burnt down, but that's another story. But so where I was going with that is like it took a lot. I learned a lot of things. Like, it was crazy. It was
that story was fire.
Seriously, through that, like though, it was really babysitting. It was really hard. It was really extremely hard to deal with people with different personalities and like crazy. You learn patience. You're dealing with crazy people, but you're also dealing with people that are absolutely very ignorant, like in their thinking and ways, and really lost people that whatever. So I learned a lot of things like in all that, and a lot of personality. But what it told me was like, this ain't for me, like, because like I might have learned it way later, but this ain't for me because like I don't like how the overall of this, what it's making people feel. I could uplift this person. I could take this person. So I'm out here doing this job of pimping, but I'm out here trying to be like, well, bitch, why don't you take a class while we're doing this? Only to do this shit part-time.
Take a class. And we had a prostitute that made her get her GED.
The bitch get GED, and then like the motherfucker, maybe you could real estate, we could do pool, we could do this.
Wait. So you were coaching him too?
Yeah, I was coaching everybody. Well,
you trying to. You got to be a mentor.
But yeah, like
a counselor,
right? So like
mentor, motivational speaker, everything. You gotta speak life into these people sometimes.
You were like, sometimes you're taking someone that has no real spirit to live or anything. Like, even though like what they're doing is illegal and it's something crazy to the regular person.
They're just pretty zombies, bro.
Like, it's free money. It's money. It's a hustle of like, if I do this, we can get by, and if I keep doing this, then we can stack. And if that stack turns into this, that, but let's take that stack and not keep stacking for no reason. Let's get out of this.
Yeah,
like you can't do this forever. You know what I'm saying? You can't do this forever. You know, and
Mhm.
so let's figure out ways out of this and that. So it was a lot of learning people's personalities and a lot of like, you know, real life coaching and like being someone's
Yeah.
parent. A lot of motherfuckers at a time though, not simple problems. And you're somebody's psychiatrist. You're somebody's like every person in their life. These are your children now at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you're really doing this.
From what I hear you saying is that, you know, basically, I mean, to put a positive spin on it, you know what I mean?
Right,
to
right.
to put this positive, I see it as you are taking broken women
Right.
that have no motivation,
Right.
no, you know, self-esteem. They're broken. No,
Right,
seriously. And you're able to take these women and you're able to like motivate them,
Rectify the situation.
seriously, motivationally coach them. Because like, what was your pimping style? Were you gorilla pimping them? I
not
don't
at
think.
all. Like,
Obviously,
I'm
I
trying-
think
that
you're
is a form.
finessing.
Right.
I think
That is a
you're.
form of
I know.
finesse. Right.
You were
Yeah.
finessing them, and you were
Right.
building their characters.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So
and
it's
making
not-
them confident, more confident about themselves.
Right.
Wrote a lot of songs about it, like the hit code, you know what I mean? That type of shit. Like, for real.
Right.
Like I wrote a lot of songs about it, and there's a lot of truth in a lot of the songs, but you know, I mean, it's old truths and whatever, and you know, they're kind of coded still. I'm not straight out, you know, giving out any information to anything, but
Mhm.
So
You
many
know,
names
but
have
there's
been
a lot of-
changed to protect the identity of those
Just
involved.
give us we want the positive information, which
but
you're giving
it's
us
just
right
like
now.
it's just like no, but the
It's good.
thing is, it's like all those things in the situations could be
Mhm.
applied to everything in life.
Yes.
Everything, all these things, these hustles, and I mean these things that you do in this hustle that you did to survive at some point, to you know whatever at some point, you can use every single one of them in any job. This is a motherfucking sales job. You know what I mean? This is like a marketing person that you are. If you can fucking sit out here and convince people to give you money for nothing, and then now you go apply it to something that they can believe in, like. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like all these different things, but you know, like it just built a different character out of me. But I learned that was not for me in a sense. Like none of the negative parts of it was not for me. I have sisters, I have daughters. Like this is not for me. This is somebody's daughter. This is
What was your wake up call? How'd you get out?
like I can't. I was really sitting there. Like this is like way different years later. Like
Bitch broke your heart.
and it's like
Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I figure that's
Yeah,
right.
right.
It hurt. It still
Yeah,
hurt.
right,
Nigga.
yeah.
Shut up.
No,
Go ahead.
you get a point. You're like, you're not better than this. Like I'm
Right.
still like I'm in a totally different situation, different women, whatever. Like I'm not paying no rent. All my rent's paid. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want, but I have a job just for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I have a job for no reason. I can do whatever the fuck I want, but I'm doing music, whatever. Then this girl's working, and then the rent's being paid, and I'm good. You know, but I'm like, this ain't me. Like, it just didn't inside of me. Like, this ain't me. Like, because I'm trying to push this positivity on this person to get this person to not do this anymore, and then we can do something else and make money, or we can turn this into all kinds of things, like legal things that you don't have to be bothered anymore for.
Like Empire.
Yeah, and she's just not with it, and it's a sad thing. But like, I wish I could save the people in those situations. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could talk to those people and get them to not do that, because I see that there's good in all these people and things like that. So I, you know, it's more like a counselor, like a lot of things that I learned out of it, you know. But I gained the ability to not ever want to put anybody in that position and not want to ever discount anybody's life story. Every single person, like in the whole in everything matters. Never discount what anybody's been through. Somebody rolling up on you like with some crazy shit, but you have no idea. And I've seen the whole upside down of that, you know, and learning to walk with like respect for everybody on the planet and everybody that have been through all these things. Like never discount that person, but don't count them out, because you can change and, you know what I mean, and do different things. You know what I mean? Like if you really want to, you know, and I'm not in any of those things no more. I'm the guy. I'm not the female in that situation. I understand, but like, I'm not running around still chasing broads and trying to do those things or whatever. But it's a lot of time lost and a lot of time wasted sitting there on this little scale of money when you could be enterprising into something big. And I see other things. That's why I'm producing a TV show now versus out here running around chasing girls trying to get the money from them.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? So
We got something to fall back on.
right. I mean, like, yeah. You know what I mean? You know, Pippin ain't got no pension plan.
Man, that's really, they don't.
All right, Cleet, thank you. That was fucking
Nice.
that was prolific. That was really good. We're gonna have to run that back and run it all over Instagram or something. That was cool. Okay, so I hope everybody's liking what's going on here. As you can tell, we're doing some motivational talks here. We're talking about what we did in the past, our hustle, and what we came around and like the positives we took out of it. So for me specifically, where my hustle started when I was 10 years old. When I was 10 years old, they had science camp in 5th grade.
Yep, everybody.
And so I didn't come from a rich family or middle class family or anything like that. So what I did, So what I had to do was they had the candy bars that you sell. So what I did was I sold my whole way to science camp with candy bars. Yeah. And I was like, damn, I'm good at that. And I liked it. Yeah. I was trying to be like, I was a good kid for a while, and then a good white kid, fucking somewhat suburban, somewhat middle class, poor. I don't know, couldn't tell.
1 foot in.
Yeah, I'm in that fucking
1 foot in poverty.
No, never met my biological dad. Mom works full time, latchkey kid.
Welcome.
80s cartoons, all that shit. Didn't graduate high school. Ended up joining the Navy without a high school diploma or a GED. That was a whole nother hustle tactic that I used on him.
Hey, that's what I say. We send you to the black community. Your father, welcome.
Like that. So when I joined the Navy, I strategically joined the Navy for a job. And I strategically picked my job in the Navy because they let you pick your orders in the Navy where you were deployed, stationed. Yeah. So I went in as a parachute rigger. And
no, go ahead.
Wait. Go on. I can't just say that. What the fuck? First of all, I don't know what you just called me, but what is a parachute rigger? What does that do? What does describe that?
So my rate in the Navy, I was an air crew survival equipment inspector. And so the rate was called PR, parachute rigger. So what I did was I literally rigged parachutes.
So you're the person that's responsible if a motherfucking parachute don't go off. That's your bad.
Yeah,
that's his bad.
Zip, a parachute.
So you rig them.
I was packing parachutes.
So stuffing it.
So you can use it again and jump out of an airplane.
When you jump out of the plane, you go.
See, when he says rigger, I'm like, you're rigging these parachutes to where they don't work.
No, you're supposed to rig them
so they do work.
Yeah, or they can throw you in Leavenworth because you killed somebody.
Maybe this is a street term where like you rig something, nigga. It's faulty.
Right, nigga.
No. You don't want it to.
It's not nigga.
This shit's rigged. This game is rigged, right?
That's why. I do. He's a black
parachute rigger, nigga. What the fuck?
Okay, so you're a parachute rigger. So yeah, I was a parachute rigger. So gotcha. I picked that rate specifically because I was talking to my recruiter for almost a year. He didn't know I didn't graduate high school. Whatever. I hustled all of them. I got in, and this job that I picked, they let me pick my orders. They flew me out to Florida after boot camp. I went out to Florida. I got into the scene out there, and then they trained me at the school. And then once you finish the school, they say, where do you want to be stationed? I wanted to come back to California. I considered this a job. I was living in Madera and Fresno at the time, and that's where my girlfriend, fiance, quotes, air quotes, was living at as well. And so I got all the way back there, and I was like, I want to come back out there, work at this job on the base, and sell dope on the side. So when I came all the way back, I had a job. Everything was right. I had the job. I was going out and see my girlfriend in Madera, hanging out there. And then I found a connect in Lemoore by the base that was making some bathtub crack. Yep. And I got hooked up with them, and then I started selling dope on the base. And then I was selling to a confidential informant that got moved from an East Coast squadron that he ratted on the whole squadron. He was moved to the West Coast because he was getting processed out, and they had him as a janitor. And somehow I found his girlfriend. Eventually his room got raided, and then he ratted on me, and then NCIS was on me, raiding my room and looking for me. And so they couldn't find the dope. And so eventually I got kicked out they found other shit. So I was fucking that was married, but she wasn't really married. She was doing BAH fraud, which is where you pretend that you're married and then you get an extra $1,000 a month in your check. So NCIS was already investigating her. So when they raided my room, they found naked pictures of me and her having sexual activities in my closet. And so they took those pictures out, and because they knew that she actually was married, she wasn't faking it. They thought she was. And so what they did was they charged me with this old laws, UCMJ laws for the military. So
fucking his wife?
Yeah, adultery, sodomy, pornography, and misconduct. And then they eventually, and then they put me in the restricted barracks, which was like a jail and shit, and they closed the door and locked it. I swear to God, I left with one other guy and we like broke out after the security left before they locked the doors. We snuck out and we broke out and we were going to leave and, abscond. And then those guys ratted on me and they caught us at the base at the club. We went to the club at the base before we were leaving.
Well, at least you got caught without getting the AWOL, right?
Right. So anyways, I got processed out with an OTH discharge and then I hit the streets and I was homeless because my mom didn't want me back over there. I met SKRILLA Sam homeless. We hustled together for a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's where we first ran into each other. That's another episode of Street Science. So anyways, I was introduced to the streets. I was introduced to homelessness. I was introduced to abandoned houses. I was introduced to drop-in centers, youth drop-in centers, case managers, things of that nature in the nonprofit sector as well, which pushed me into my career path that I am in today. And so with that, I was introduced to the streets and then downtown San Jose, like Sam was talking about before. I came back after me and Sam parted ways. I came back again because I was homeless again. And that's when I started selling crack. And it was introduced to me because I got it fronted to me. And it was explained to me that these are the $20 rocks. You sell these for $20. And then you give me $10 and you get $10 or whatever the cut was. And so I didn't have any money out of pocket and it was a win-win. And they were standing out there.
To me, these are the prices.
Yeah.
This is what the going rate is.
Oh yeah. And so then that was the hustle for a minute. And then, I learned the dirty part of the hustle where we were making getting the yellow pieces of soap from the drop-in center and packaging
burning people all day.
Knox chasing us down at 3 a.m, jacking up on the baseball bats. Oh, yeah, it was ugly. But what happened was I networked. And so then I started networking when I was on the streets. I started meeting people at the drop-in centers. I started meeting homeless people on the Guadalupe River. I started meeting homeless street kids at the abandoned houses, the girlfriends, the street families, the people that hung out at St. James Park, and they call each other brother and sister and family. There was this whole interconnection of people, and I'm around them 24/7, and they all begin to know you. And so that's what networking was, and I didn't know it yet. And so eventually I started going to jail and because they start picking you up and it wasn't for selling dope or anything. It was random shit. You start going to jail. And then I started networking in jail and I started meeting people inside jail and telling them, my hustling stories on the streets. And eventually one day I met a connect and his name was Enz. And so Enz was a really cool guy, and he took to me and some of the white guys in jail. I ran with the white guys as I was told when I got there immediately. So, as following suit. And so networking with those guys, they took a liking to me and my personality and my hustle. And when I touched down, he said, get a hold of me. I got a hold of him. I followed through on everything I'm going to say, and that's my personal brand. Everybody who knows me knows that when I say something, I'm going to do it. And I called him when I got out, and I said, I'm out. I don't have nothing. I'm here. What's up? He said, come through. I'm used to street life, homeless life. That's the hustle life that I know. And then I got introduced to the other side, the real dope fiends, the meth heads in the apartments in San Jose, people with money, people with houses, shit like that. The people that he knew, his network. Wow. And he gave me a cell phone. I swear to God, he gave me a Metro PCS. This was in 2004 or 5. Dude came out with a Metro PCS ready to go, activated, a scale, an 8-ball of meth, baggies, and any questions I needed. A whole starter pack. Come back. Right. And I took it to downtown San Jose, and then I started feeding them. And then I started meeting other people in jail and going out and feeding them.
The new network.
And then I met people, and then I took people that I knew downtown San Jose, little, people that I could really control, not mind control, but they were friends kind of. Right. They hustled for me. I was dropping off dope to them, and then they were selling that, and then I'm going back and picking up the money, and I just figured out the game from there. And it was just simple mathematics. Right. It was networking. It was hustling. Right. And I really caught a liking to it. And then from that, it went to 4 prison terms, 2 for sales. My last one was for possession of stolen property, where it was file case full of like 50 profiles, social security numbers and shit. Because that was another hustle I was doing. I could hack into people's bank accounts with a social security number and their last name, because you can, if you know somebody's name, you can go on ancestry.com and you can find out what their mother's maiden name is immediately. That's a side hustle. I don't care. It's a side hustle. That's part of the show, though. It's these little hustles that we did. We were so, I have to say, because it's ingenious. It's like we were so ingenious. We have all of these skills, and we figure out shit like when I call Chase Bank and I want to hack their online account and I need to reset the password, I call them and I wanted to hear what they were going to ask me. And they were like, they want to know my social security number and they wanted to know my mother's maiden name.
Wow.
And that was it. And then they reset the password. And then we would start buying shit like MacBook Pros and sending them to people's houses and flushing out accounts. So we just, that was a hustle. Yeah. So I'm sure that's been blown up. I'm sure. Moving forward and on from that, I did 4 prison terms, and then my very last prison term, the prison term before that, I told my family I was never going back, and they embraced me when I got out and let me live with them and supported me. And then within 9 months, I had started selling dope again. And I had gotten busted with the profiles and did 13 more months with the new AB 109 sentencing. So I did it in county jail.
Yeah.
I did that 13 months there. And when I got cracked that last time, before I even got sentenced, I already knew what was going down. It's like, I have 3 prior prison terms. They add on a year every time. So for every prison term. So mandatory, I'm doing time no matter what when I go to jail. Mm-hmm. And so, but I just got down literally like on my knees and I was like, I fucking don't want to live this lifestyle anymore. I don't want to live this life anymore. I don't want to be fucking a part of this anymore. I don't know what the fuck I have to do. And I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I need to figure out, I want to live a life where I'm not committing any crimes and I can be happy and have money and live my dream and do what I want to do. And I can't do this shit anymore. And I'm done. And so I started out on the AA clean and sober path, which is what they tell every person in jail and convict to do. That's like your only saving grace. It's like, this is your Jesus. This is the only way out. It worked for me. I jumped into it wholeheartedly, and I did 3 years clean and sober, and I did the 12 steps, and I got everything I could out of it, but it was not my lifestyle. I did not agree with their lifestyle patterns. I did not agree with specific things, but to each his own, and it works for some people. But statistically speaking, it's about a 10 to 15% success rate if you want to get down to brass tacks. So when I got out, I jumped out to live my dream, and my hustle was to work in the field of nonprofit. And so my hustle was to immediately build a resume, and I did. And I went online, and I got resume templates, and then I had no fucking like Jack in the Box, some other shit, and prison terms and this. And so I had to figure out how to work in the nonprofit field and make a resume.
He said Jack in the Box, McDonald's, level 3, level 3.
Prison terms in this.
So what I did was, and you can do this too. This is a practical solution right now. Listen up, open up your ears if you're actually listening to this. I went online and I looked at Google template resumes, and then I went to the job descriptions of the jobs that I wanted, the entry-level nonprofit job positions. And I looked I did some copy pasting, but I maneuvered it. So
right. As we all
I did. So when you see something like Microsoft, Word, Excel, and Publisher, okay, yeah, I can move a couple bars on Excel. I can move a couple bars on Excel. I can make a couple posters on Publisher, but I'm a whiz with Word and whatever. So it's a hustle, bro. It's a hustle. Okay. All right. So to wrap it up, basically my whole hustle transferred over, the motivation side of the hustle transferred over into getting jobs in the nonprofit field. And I worked 7 years in the nonprofit field. And what I did was I humbly submitted my entire being into learning that shit, learning everything about the field, learning everything I could, because I know that the therapists go to school and they have all that fucking the master's degree and shit. I can't get that. So what I did was I watched YouTube videos. I learned a thing called What Can I Do Now? So it's motivational interviewing. I got the book and I learned how to motivationally interview people where I could motivate you, but I could also move you through the stages of change. And I can tell you right now what stage of change you're in about your substance abuse or about your business plan. I can identify where you're at. I can help you identify where you're at, and I can create change within you through a conversation, which is your change talk, though it's your own talk, and I'm just facilitating the movement of it.
You did it to me at the shop the other day when we came to talk about this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, hey, you know what? I need to start. I think I need to start writing shit down, right? So I can start bringing it to fruition. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start writing shit down, right? Versus I think I need to start,
right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So right now, so it already worked it on me. So now hearing you talk about it, I hear your game now.
Right. And yes, and with all the bullshit, you know, and whatever, and filter through the good stuff and whatever we're always be saying. That's what this show is about. Is positive personal development, but on the ground floor of like where we are at right now, like real life shit. Like we're here, my bank account is negative right now. You know what I mean? I have, you know, issues with family and whatever, but I need to stay positive and stay focused on my goals and my dream. And I can continue to work on myself and work on the other stuff and just push forward. And like as Sam had said before, we were talking about like things that because we're brainstorming what to talk about because we want to bring some good content to you. And we talked about resilience. Like that's what we got is resilience. Like if you've been through the struggle, if you've been, grown up broke, if you've been through prison, if you fucking have been abused as a child or whatever, and you are still alive and you are still motivated somehow to do something, then you have fucking resilience. Right. And that's a major thing. You know what I mean? That's
absolutely. That's everything.
Yeah, way to wrap it up, man. It was a good second episode, but good first episode with multiple hosts. Did a good job with your first episode by yourself.
All right.
We heard it in the car. We heard it.
We watched that.
Oh, you guys actually listened to it?
So your co-host actually watched the video.
Oh, wow.
Last week before we knew we were going to be co-hosts.
We were just having that conversation. It was like, we'll fuck with him. Right now, I was how